shoot-down tells CBS News of fire, smoke, impact, and somehow making it out alive. Tonight's CBS Inside Story, a startling new finding about heart attack.
Reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. The U.S. Senate late today gave final congressional approval to the $87 billion additional aid President Bush sought for operations and rebuilding in Iran and Afghanistan. In Iraq today, there were more U.S. casualties, and American troops hunted for shadowy insurgents and especially for shoulder-fired surface-to-air missiles like the one that brought down an Army transport helicopter over the weekend, killing 16 U.S. soldiers. There were new attacks today in Baghdad, and as CBS's David Hawkins reports, they coincided with another stay-the-course speech President Bush gave in Alabama.
At about the same time President Bush was repeating his promise that America will never run from Iraq, three loud explosions echoed across Baghdad as mortars struck the coalition's headquarters here. A U.S. military spokesman says there are no casualties and no significant damage. U.S. soldiers searched the banks of the Tigris River for the attackers, but didn't find them. The men who shot down the U.S. Army helicopter near Fallujah yesterday got away too, after inflicting the highest number of casualties U.S. forces have suffered here in a single attack. Corporal David Tennent was one of the survivors.
I just remember waking up in the middle of the rubble, trying to escape, trying to get out of the burning metal.
It was the first lethal attack by Iraqi insurgents against a U.S. helicopter, but it wasn't the first time they've tried. American aircraft have been targeted by shoulder-launched rockets 20 times before. Just this weekend, America's top general in Iraq spoke of the risks that still lay ahead.
As we continue to fight this low-intensity conflict, there will be more obstacles, more setbacks, and more tragedies in the future.
U.S. officials say they're facing an enemy that's increasingly sophisticated, elusive, and well-armed.
Looking for and controlling the weapons is an enormous job. There is simply a lot of it lying around.
Of approximately 5,000 shoulder-fired anti-aircraft missiles in Saddam Hussein's stockpile, only a third of them have been accounted for so far. Not only are there hundreds of anti-aircraft missiles out there, there are a lot of out-of-work Iraqi soldiers who know how to use them. The Army's Chinook helicopters are slow, easy targets, built for transport, not speed or maneuverability. After yesterday's attack, they've been ordered to stay on the ground during daylight hours. For now, they'll only fly them at night. David Hawkins, CBS News, Baghdad.
Within hours after that big Chinook helicopter was shot down, a CBS News crew on the scene interviewed several injured survivors at the U.S. military hospital where they were taken for treatment. As CBS's Kimberly Dozier reports tonight, the attack came so suddenly, there was no time for the soldiers to react.
They were headed for home, a break from Iraq. Then, chaos.
There was a loud explosion and black smoke and dust, and the back end of the Chinook caught on fire. And it was winning flames, and it started going down.
His only thought was of those waiting for him to come home.
First thing I thought about was my mom and dad, and I didn't know, what they would think, and I was scared.
I was watching out the back of the Chinook the whole time, just sightseeing.
Corporal David Tennent saw the missile that brought them down.
It hit the back of the Chinook. The Chinook caught on fire, and we started to go down.
And then the helicopter was on the ground.
I couldn't see anything because the wind and the dust and everything from the explosion and the crash.
16 soldiers who died when their helicopter crashed.